I recently had a dream, and I realized that it was my spirit guides trying to teach me how to be an empath without having to deal with consistent burnout. Content warning for child SA. So the scene of the dream was me on the side of the street, essentially passing out food to houseless people. Now, it was actually before we started to pass out the food, and all the volunteers were circled around the leader as the leader gave the people a speech. Now, the leader led with, we all need to make sure that we are being cognitive of the experiences of the houseless people and putting ourselves in their place when we're giving them food, because you really don't know what they're going through. Then they started to really go down a visualization experience type of a talk. Like, picture you woke up on the side of the street, cold type business, you know? Then I seen me dressed in all white, and I interrupted them. And I essentially said, no, that's not the right way to do it, because you're putting yourself through a whole lot of extra pain when you really don't need to. Then they passed the food to an old man who was homeless. He looked very, beat up, clothes dirty type business, And the leader essentially let me know, like, no, that's the right way to do it. And so I used that man as an example, and I asked that man, has he ever touched a child? That man didn't answer me. He just slowly started to tear up. And that's when the leader grabbed the food out of the man's hand out of disgust. I gave the food back to the man, told him to walk away, have a good day, and of course the leader was very angry and irritated at me. They asked me why would I do that if I knew who they were. My higher self essentially let them know that if we're going to position ourselves as givers under God, as people who see others as humans, then we can't also position ourselves as God, trying to justify whether or not they deserve the giving that we are putting out. When you position yourself hypothetically on the street, allowing anybody to come up and receive whatever they so choose from you, you position yourself as a portal. And it's up to God to bring forth to you whoever needs to be brought forth to you. You are a circle of an experience that people are going to pass through. That man's sentencing could be that because he took away somebody's ability to choose, right, that he'll never be able to choose again. Anytime that he has access to food, he'll need to accept it, because he'll never have access for a really long time after that. And in that same breath, there might be somebody in that same line who just made a few mistakes in their life and are trying to get back on their feet. Somebody who came from a home that was terrible to them, and they just need some food right now. There are going to be many different people who have different histories that are in different paths that are going to come through that portal. And it's only your job to give the food. God is sending to them the thoughts to go down that street that day. And it's only those who need to get that food that are going to come down that street that day. And your job is to be the person on that street giving out that food. It's not your job to judge whether or not those people deserve it. And furthermore, because it's not your job to judge whether or not those people deserve it, it's also not your job to put yourself in the places of any of those people and try to take on what you think that person is going through, because you're going to be accepting in so much energy. You're going to be accepting in so much karma that is not yours. The only motivation that you need to do that work is to understand that people deserve food, and that because of the systems that are currently set up, people don't have access to food like they should. And you're going to allow yourself to be a portal that people can walk through to have access to food that day and that time and that place. And that's it. Learn how to give while being in a place of detachment. You will lack that place of detachment if you try to also put yourself in a place of being a judge and also being somebody who is a sponge to all that energy. Preserve yourself. Master detachment.